Okay, so once again, good morning everyone. So our topic for today is about information systems, organizations, and strategy. So in these discussions, we will be able to capture about the features of organizations. Do managers need to know about to build and use information systems successfully? So what is the impact of information system in an organizations? Now, we discuss also the Porter's competitive forces model, which help companies in developing competitive strategies using the information system. The value chain and value web models help business identify opportunities for strategic information system application. How do information system help businesses use synergies, core competencies, and network-based strategies to achieve competitive advantage? And of course, the challenges posed by the strategic information system and how should they be addressed. Okay, so again, the information systems and organizations influence one another. Take note of it. No? Information systems are built by managers to serve the interests of the business firm. So at the same time, the organization must be aware of and open to the influence of information system to benefit from new technology. So the interaction between information technologies and organization is complex and is influenced by many mediating factors, including the organization structure, business processes, politics, cultures, surrounding environment, and management decisions. So you will need to understand how information system can change social and work life in your organization or firm. You will not be able to design new systems successfully or understand existing system without understanding your own business organization. So to give us more details about IS organization and strategy, let us all welcome our presenter. Go ahead.
So the first one is the two-way relationship between organizations and information technology. So this complex relationship is mediated by many factors. Not the least of which are the decisions made or made not by the owners or the managers. So next one is, what is an organization? So we have here the two definition of organization, the technical definition and the behavioral definition. So in organizations, the technical definition and the behavioral definition are not contradictory. So indeed they complement each other. So in technical definition, tell us how thousands of firms in competitive markets combine capital, labor, and information technology. Whereas the behavioral model takes us inside the individual firm to see how the technology affects the organizations or in inner workings. So next one is this the technical microeconomic definition organization. Ay, wait lang po. I-add ko lang po dito, the organization is more stable than the informal group. Hindi lang po siya yung halimbawa yung mga group of friends ganon na kain lang po sa labas, parang ganon. The organization is more formal legal entities with internal rules and procedures that must be abide by laws. So organizations are also social structure because they are collection of social elements, much as machine as a structure, a particular arrangement of um, the comms, shops, and the other parts. So the definition of organization is more powerful and simple, but it is not very descriptive or even predictive of real world organizations. So in next one is the technical microeconomic definition of the organizations. So we have here the inputs from the environment, the production process, the outputs to the environment. So in definition of organizations, um, wait, the technical microeconomic definition pala are transformed or transfer or change by the firm through the production process into products and services. So yun nga po yung output of the environment. So the product and services are consumed by the environment, which supply additional capital and labor as inputs to feedback loop. For example, pag nag-order tayo sa Shopee or sa Lazada. So may mga production process po na nangyayari daw. For example, yung to ship, to receive, or to uh, give feedback to the seller.
Okay, in addition, no, with the last presentation, okay, so again, as a manager, you will be the one to decide which system will be built. So what they will do and how they will be implemented. So you may not be able to anticipate all of the consequences of these decisions and some of the changes that occur in business firms because of new information technology investment. It cannot be foreseen and have results that may or may not meet your expectations. So who would have imagined 15 years ago, for instance, that email and instant messaging would become a dominant form of business communication and that many managers would be inundated with more than 200 emails managers a day. So in the microelectronic definition of Garcia, what our presenter discussed, that of course the capital and labor, no, the primary production factors provided by the environment, and of course the production process into products and services are the outputs of the organization. So the product and services are consumed by the environment, which supplies an additional capital and labor as inputs in the feedback loop. Okay, sige, go ahead.
So next one is the behavioral view of organizations. So in this behavioral view, people who work in organizations develop customary ways of working. They gain attachment to existing relationships and they make arrangements with subordinates and superiors and about how work will be done. So in behavioral view of organizations, encourage us to focus on how inputs are combined to create outputs when technology changes are introduced into the company. So the firm or the company is seen as infinitely malleable with capital and labor substituting for each other quite easily. But more realistic behavioral definition of an organization suggests that building new information systems or rebuilding old ones involves much more than a technical rearrangement of machines or workers. So that some information system change the organizational balance of rights, privilege, obligations, and responsibilities that have been established over long period of time. So in changing these elements can take a long time and requires more resources to support training and learning. The new information system effectively is much longer than usually anticipated by simply because there is a lag between implementing a technical system and teaching employees and managers how to use the system. So when it comes to technological changes, it requires change in who owns and controls information, who has the right to access and update that information, and who makes decisions about whom, when, or how. So this complex view forces us to look at the way work is designed and produces used to achieve outputs. So next one is the features of organizations. We have the 5 features of organizations here: use of hierarchical structure, accountability, authority, and system of impartial decision making, adherence to principle of efficiency, routines and business processes, organizational politics, culture, environments, and structures. So in organizations, they try to hire and promote employees on the basis of technical qualifications and professionalism. So the organization is devoted to the principle of efficiency to maximize output using limited inputs. So the other features of the organizations include their business process, organizational culture, society or environments, and structures or politics. Um, all of these features affect the kinds of information system used by the organizations. So next slides is about routines, business process, and firms. So all organizations, including business firms, becomes very efficient over time because individuals in the firm develop routines for producing goods and services. So as an employees, they learn these routines. They become highly productive and efficient, and the firm is able to uh, produce or reduce its cost over time as efficiency increases. So the next one is the environments and organizations have a reciprocal relationships. Environment shapes what organizations can do, but organizations can influence their environments and decide to change environments altogether. So in this organization, the information technology have the critical role in helping organizations perceive environmental change and helping organizations act on their um, environment. So environments and organizations reside in which they draw resources and to which they supply goods and services. So organizations and environments have a reciprocal relationship. Organizations are open to dependent and social physical environment that surrounds them. So organization must respond to legislative and other requirements imposed by the government, as well as the actions of customers and competitors. So environments or organizations can influence their um, society. For example, in business firms, from alliance with the other business to influence the political process, they advertise to influence customer acceptance of their products. So environments generally change much faster than organizations. New technologies, new products, and changing public taste and values, or many of which result in new government regulations. But they put strains on any organizations, culture, politics, and people. So most organizations are unable to adapt to a rapidly changing environment. So the political conflict here is raised by changes to the existing order, and the threat to closely held cultural values inhibit organizations from making significant changes. The next one is the five basic kinds of organizational structure. So we have here the entrepreneurial structure, machine bureaucracy structure, divisionalized bureaucracy, professional, professional bureaucracy, and adhocracy. So in entrepreneurial, sila po yung mga small startup business. Sila yung mga um, small small company or firm that tuloy-tuloy yung yung pagbabago ng company nila. So in machine bureaucracy naman, sila po yung mga parang habang tumatagal lumalago na ng lumalago yung kanilang business firm. So in divisionalized bureaucracy, this structure combination of multiple machine, each producing a different product or service, all tapped by one central headquarters. Professional bureaucracy. Example ito yung law firms, school systems, and yung mga hospitals. Adhocracy, consulting firms. So dito yung mga task force organization that must respond to rapidly changing environments. So when it comes to flattening organizations naman, we have here the two triangles. The first one is the traditional hierarchical organizations with many levels of management. The second one is the organization that has been flattened by removing layers of management. Some of these large organizations have downside, reducing the number of employees and the number of levels in the organizational hierarchies. So behavioral researchers have theorized that information technology facilitates flattening of hierarchies by broadening the distribution of information to empower lower level employees and increase management efficiency. So the IT pushes decision making rights lower in the organization because lower level employees receive the information they need to make a decision without supervision. These changes mean that the management span of control has also been broadened. The managers manage to control more workers or spread over greater distance, or the many companies have eliminated thousands of middle managers as a result of these changes. So when it comes to organizational resistance and mutually adjusting relationship between technology and the organization, the organizational structure implementing information systems has consequences for task arrangements, structures, and people. According to this model, to implement change, all four components must be changed simultaneously. Many new information system requires changes in personal individual routines that can be painful for those involved and require retaining and additional effort that may or may not be compensated because information system potentially change an organization structure, culture, business process, and strategy. There is often considerable resistance to them when they are introduced. So there are several ways to visualize organizational resistance. Researcher Research on organizational resistance to innovate suggests that four factors are um, the nature of the IT innovations, the organization structure, the culture people in the organization, and the task impacted by innovation. There are there are several ways to visualize organizational resistance. The nature of the IT innovations or the organization structure, the culture of people um, in organization, and the task impact by the innovation. Um, in this model, the only way to bring about change is to change the technology, task, structure, people, and the technology. So, Porter's competitive forces model. So, in Michael Porter's competitive forces model, provides a general view of the firm, its competitors, and the firm's environment. So, in Porter's model, is all about the firm's general business environment. So, we have here the five traditional competitors. The new market entrance. So in new market entrance, this is the free economy with mobile labor and financial resources. And new companies are always entering the marketplace. So in some industries, there are very low barriers to entry, whereas in other industries, entry is very difficult. For instance, it is fairly easy to start a pizza business or just about any small retail business, but it is much more expensive and difficult to enter the um, business, which has very high capital cost and requires significant expertise and knowledge that is hard to obtain. So when it comes to new companies, have several possible advantage. They are not locked into old equipment. they often hire younger workers. So in substitute products and services, there are substitutes that your customers might be used if your prices become too high. New technologies create new substitutes all the time. So for example, in ethanol can substitute for gasoline in cars, vegetable oil for diesel fuel in trucks, and for electricity naman, we have the substitute na yung mga wind power, solar power, or the hydropower. So in internet music, for example, in Spotify, pwede kang mag-download doon ng music tracks to your Android, or for example, may free trial lang siya. Free trial in 7 days. Pagkatapos ng 7 days nun, hindi ka na pwedeng mag-download or mag-download ng mga music to your Android. So, may mga substitute products na pwede mo siyang bilhin. Pwede mo bilhin yung mga CDs in music stores. So when it comes to customers, the profitable company depends in large measure on its ability to attract and retain customers and charge high prices. The power of customers grows if they can easily switch to a competitor's products and services, or they can force a business and its competitors to compete on price alone in the transparent marketplace, where there is a little product differentiation and all prices are known instantly. So, in suppliers, the market power of suppliers can have significant impact on firm profits, especially when the firm cannot raises prices as fast as can suppliers. The more different suppliers a firm has, the greater control it it can exercise over suppliers in terms of price, quality, and delivery schedules. Manufacturers of laptops, PCs, almost always have multiple competing suppliers of key components such as keyboards, hard drives, and display screens. So next one is the value chain model. Although earlier the Porter's model is very helpful for identifying competitive forces and suggesting generic strategies, it is not very specific about what exactly to do, and it does not provide a methodology to follow for achieving competitive advantages. So, in value chain model, it highlights specific activities in the business where competitive strategies can be applied, and where information systems are most likely to have a strategic impact. So this model identifies specific critical leverage points where a firm can use information technology most effectively to enhance its competitive positions. So the value chain model views the firms as series or chain or basic activities that add a margin or value to firm products or services. So in value web is a network system that can synchronize the value chains of business partners partners within an industry to respond rapidly to changes in supply and the demand. In the value web shows that this business process of customers, suppliers, and trading partners among different companies in an industry or in related industries. These value web are flexible and adaptive to changes in supply and demand. Relationships can be bundled or unbundled in responsible to changing market conditions. The company will accelerate time to market and to customers by optimizing their value web relationships to make quick decisions on who can deliver and the required products or services at the right price and the location. So in ecosystem strategic model, the digital firm era requires a more dynamic view of the boundaries among industries firms, customers and suppliers with competition appearing among industry sits in business ecosystem. In the ecosystem strategic model, multiple industries work together to deliver value to the customer. So in information technology, they play a powerful role in establishing business ecosystem. Many firms use information system to develop into keystone firms for building IT-based platforms that other firms can use. In the digital firm era, we can expect greater emphasis on the use of IT to build industry ecosystem because the cost of anticipating in such ecosystem will fall and the benefits to all firm will increase rapidly as the platform grows. So the ecosystem related to these products and how it might use EIT to enable participation in this large ecosystem. So in managing strategic transitions, adapting the kinds of strategic system generally requires changes in business goals, relationship with customers and suppliers, and business process. So the suppliers and customers must become intimately linked and may share each other's responsibilities. So the owner or the managers will need to devise new business process for coordinating their firm's activities with those of customers, suppliers, and other organizations. So the organizational change requirements surrounding new information system are so important that they merit attention. Yun lang po.
Okay, so to add on with the discussion, again, as I begin a while ago regarding this topic, that maybe you are asking about the features of organizations. Do managers need to know about to build and use information systems successfully, and what is the impact of information system on the organization? All modern organizations are hierarchical, specialized, and impartial, using explicit routines to maximize efficiency. All organizations have their own cultures and politics arising from differences in interest groups. And they are affected by their surrounding environment. So organizations differ in the goals, group serve, social rules, leadership styles, incentives, types of task performed, and type of structure. And these features help explain differences, of course, in organizations, no use of information technology. Now, excuse. The information system or the information in and the organization in which they are used interact with and influence each other. So the introduction of a new information system will affect organizational structure, goals, work design, values, competition between interest group, decision making, and day-to-day behavior. So at the same time, information systems must be designed to serve the needs of important organizational groups and will be shaped by the organization structures, business processes, goals, culture, politics, and management. So information technology can be reduced transaction and agency cost, and such changes have been accentuated in organization using the internet. So new system disrupt established patterns of work and power relationship. So there is often considerable resistance to them when they are introduced. And of course, any change in organization, always we consider resistance. So a while ago, our presenter discussed about, mentioned about Porter's competitive forces model, which can help companies develop competitive strategies using information system. In Porter's competitive forces model, the strategic position of the firm and its strategies are determined by competition with its traditional direct competitors, but they are also greatly affected by new market entrants. No? So the new in the market. So substitute products and services, suppliers and customers. So information system help companies compete by maintaining low cost, differentiating products or services, focusing on market niche, strengthening ties with customers, and of course, not only with the customers but suppliers, and increasing barriers to market entry with high level of operational excellence. Now, how about the value chain and value web models, which help businesses identify opportunities for strategic information system applications? Now, the value chain model highlights specific activities in the business where competitive strategies and information system will have the greatest impact. So the model views the firm as a series of primary and support activities that add value to firm's products or services. So primary activities are directly related to production and distribution, whereas support activities make the delivery of primary activities possible. So a firm value chain can be linked to the value chain of its suppliers, distributors, and customers. So a value web consists of information systems that enhance competitiveness at the industry level by promoting the use of standards and industry-wide consortia, and by enabling businesses to work more efficiently with their value partners. Because we are always looking forward that our customers be satisfied on our services. So how do information systems help businesses use synergies, core competencies, and network-based strategies to achieve competitive advantage? Because firm consists of multiple business units. So for example, in CCC, we have the registrar's office, we have the accounting office, we have the dean's office, and so on and so forth. Now, information system achieve additional efficiency or enhance services by tying together the operations of disparate business units, so that information system help business leverage their core competencies by promoting the sharing of knowledge across business unit. So information system facilitate business model based on large networks of users or subscribers that take advantage of network economies or economics. A virtual company strategy uses network to link to other firms so that a company can use the capabilities of other companies to be build, market, and distribute products and services. In business ecosystems, no, per se, no, multiple industries work together to deliver value to the customer. So information systems support a dense network of interactions among the participating firms. So what are the challenges, no, posed by strategic information system, and how should they be addressed? Now, implementing strategic systems, no, often requires extensive organizational change and a transition from one socio-technical level to another. So such changes are called strategic transition and are often difficult and painful to achieve. So moreover, not all strategic systems are profitable and they can be expensive to build. Many strategic information systems are easily copied by other firms. So the strategic advantage is not always sustainable. Okay, I think that's it for the presentation, chapter 3, I think, no?